Hello, I'm Adi Bolwaka coming to you from the Mosaic Work studio with a video from a new series focused on product. Being involved in building digital products for more than 12 years, we at Mosaic Works are always looking for ways to improve the way digital products are built. Back in 2017, we've decided to learn more from other product people, so we've created the Product Leaders Gathering. Practitioners on product, businesses, and technology, passionate about building successful products, are sharing strategies and techniques for product design, development, and validation. One of the speakers, Bo Tiderman, gives us his take on how to succeed with product launches. He focuses on the efforts needed to secure product success by doing good product launches as well as key issues to be addressed. Thank you and enjoy the talk.
I'm working as a consultant, and one of the advantages of being a consultant is that you get the opportunity to step into different companies and really look into and think about what's going on and why are they doing this and what is working and what is not. What I've been working with is tech companies in the Scandinavian region mainly, business to business. So that's my focus area, and we work with. The company I work with is focused on product managers as our customers. We help product managers to develop the right products and to make them succeed getting into the market. And we do this with training and we do it with consulting. So, I'll give a little bit of a context first for what is the way I look at product management, and before I go into the specific about product launches. What we say is that there's a market out there, and we call it ecosystem actually, because it's not just the customers. There are departments that you work with. You need to understand what's going on here. You build an insight, understanding about what the customers and the market and the partners are asking for, and the opportunities that you see. This is put into product planning, as we call it. And based on the product planning, you structure, you prioritize, and then you hand over to the development department. And this could take maybe weeks, or it could take years, depending on the industry that you're working in. And afterwards, you want to get the products out into the market, right? And the good thing is if you have a strategy that actually connects, so that what you try to market here is actually what you heard, what you thought the market wanted to have here. And that's what the product strategy is for, and it should be based on insight. And what we see is that there seems to be sort of a gap here. You have these marketing departments, and I'm talking about ABB, and I'm talking about Tetra Pak and companies like that, and also the small ones. You have a marketing department that really haven't got the opportunity to sell their products because they don't understand what the products are. And then you have product managers here, or development people, product people, really frustrated because they see that the marketing department, they're not helping the sales. And then what we do is, if you ask these people, you go to the marketing department and ask them, why are not you promoting the product in the right way? They say, okay, well they come with these binders here, stacks of information. I don't have the time to read this stuff. I can't even understand it. I don't have that kind of training. That's not my skills. And you talk to the product people, and they say, but I'm building my own web page now because the marketing department, they don't understand this stuff. It's crazy, isn't it? So what needs to be done is to sort of bridge this gap here. And what I say is that this is actually in the laps of product people. Product managers need to step up and help in this work and find some tools to do that. And there are tools and methodology for this. And of course, there's an out loop here as well, and you're supporting sales and you work with delivery as well. So this is the way, the colored part here is what we call product management, where I come from, my world. You agree with this?
Yeah.
So, are any of you working exclusively with product marketing?
Exclusively, no.
See that, please? You're working full time with? Yeah, you do, of course. Yeah, I know you do. That's great. Because in an organization, if you're a product manager, if you're a small company, maybe you don't even have a product manager, but somebody is doing that work anyway. If you're a bigger company, maybe you have people working exclusively with product marketing. Then you can focus on this and assisting in the product launches. Because what product management try to do is you need to sort of get into the market a little bit earlier, make the product succeed a little bit better, and stay in the market a little bit longer without really increasing the cost for the development. That's when you're doing a good job as a product manager. So, product launch. How do you get your product into the market? Well, the first thing is, I think, is to understand what is it that actually triggers the product launch. Is it because the product is finalized now, so that's why you want to send it out to the market? Or are there some other reasons? Is it because the competition did something? You want to go into another market segment? There really could be different arguments for why you want to do a product launch. And we see so many times that, particularly when you're working agile, just pushing out releases. They're just flying out through the doors. Sometimes even sales doesn't know that what's going on there. They're sending out stuff that could be charged and it could be priced and you could get some money from. And that's a bit pity. So what I want you to do is to sit down with your colleagues and talk through this. Why are we doing the launches? And maybe there is some mechanisms in your industry that expect you to launch it at a certain time and for a certain reason. To understand these mechanisms and find a way internally to work. Who is triggering the launch and why? Because if you do the launches, you can really assist marketing and help sales, because by the end of the day, it's the sales that you want to create. You with me? Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's obvious, I don't know. But I see it happens that it's not so obvious. Okay, so what is the product launch about then? I say it's about communication. So I'm coming back to the thing is that presumably, I mean, if you have a product that is now ready, does it actually immediately mean that you should launch it? Well, it depends on what you want to communicate. That's what I'm saying. Because depending on what the purpose is with your launch, you should adopt your communication accordingly and time it with marketing events or something happening in the market. Maybe you'd actually store your already prepared products for some time to wait until the timing is right and build the communication that is relevant for that launch. So it's a timing and it's about communication. What is it that you want to achieve with the launch? But if you want to communicate, you really need to know who are you communicating to or with. Segmentation. Everybody done with segmentation? We talked about it yesterday. There are many different ways of doing segmentation, and what I see from time to time is that companies, or the product management department sort of takes the sales segmentation, the segmentation that the sales organization is structured in, like regional sales organization, and think that is the segmentation, but it's not. You need to really think through what the segmentation is and what is relevant for your product. And there are some new concepts, and I'm sure you heard about them, like the jobs to be done, stuff like that. I mean, changes, think outside the box and find the segmentation that helps you understand who is the customer. And we heard some of the presentations yesterday that touched upon exactly the same subject. So if you know your customer, you understand the pains and the gains or the needs of the customer, that will help you to create a communication that is relevant. And we have one model for how to think about this, we call it resonating focus. If you have a product, you can talk about everything about the product. That's typically what happens when you really don't know the competition. If you know the competition, you need to understand what's happening in the market, you need to know your product. Then you can do the unique selling points. Maybe you can present a list of unique selling points. Why is your product better than the competition? Well, that's fine. But what we want to achieve is the next level. If you really understand your customer too, not just your product and what's going on in the market, but you really understand your customer, then you can focus on the points that are providing the biggest value for this specific customer. And that's what you want to achieve in a meeting. When you meet your customer, you want to talk about what is most relevant for that customer. That's when you get this sort of resonating focus in the dialogue. And they will remember what you told them when you leave the room. And that's basically what you want to achieve in the communication with the launch as well. You need to know who you're talking to and what you should say to those customers. Pretty obvious, maybe. Not so easy, though. And one argument we get sometimes is that, okay, but if I go so specifically, I will miss out on the other ones besides. Yeah, maybe, but if you don't focus on the points that are really relevant for this customer, they won't listen anyway. So I don't think that's an argument, really. So relevant communication. Have you worked with the value proposition design?
Yes.
Read the book? It's really good. So I steal some slides from that. You already saw them. This concept. Do you know what this is? This is what we call a value tree. Because I think it's really important to, if you want to have a product value logic to communicate, you need to build up a sort of an argumentation that is built upon a consistent structure. So what we do is we design, at the top here, you have things like cost reduction, time saving, stuff like that everybody says. Everybody can say that they save time or whatever. But how can they actually build up an argumentation that is consistent and that is telling how they do that? You can do this yourself. It's a brainstorm session. You just sit down with the people that knows your product, from somebody from sales, somebody from service, somebody from whatever. Do a brainstorm, put on the post-it notes, what's good about the product, split them up with what's closer to the customer, what's closer to the product. And then you can start connect them. It's really logic. So once you have this value logic, that's when you can connect. What are the game creators? What are the pain relievers that address the customer needs, the other side? So, what I find is that there are some launches are product focused, some are actually just pure message focused. And it's this kind of strategic decision that needs to be made by somebody. And that somebody typically, I think the initiative should come from product management, because product managers typically have the perspective where you see both sides. So you see the business, you see the product, you understand the product logic, you know what the product could do, and you see the potential in the market. So you need to take a decision here, and you need to as you said, somebody said yesterday, you're not supposed to be taking the decisions, but you're supposed to be driving the decisions. So that management takes the decision that now we should take the opportunity to reposition in the market, or we should, well, depending on what you want to do here. And some of the launches is just, you don't have to communicate about them at all. You need to classify them. You need to find a policy for how to do this. and agree upon it inside your organization. Because that's what's building up the launch strategy. So, this actually went much quicker than I thought. To summarize, you need to consider who are you doing the launch for? What is the purpose of the launch, and what kind of communication do I need to have for this event? And as a product manager, your job is to create company readiness, to prepare the whole organization, not just the marketing department. You need to see that the service is in place, that the customer support is in place, etc. That's what company readiness is, not just about the building launch. So I'm open for questions this time. Please.
Let's take an example.
Yeah.
Let's play. No, this is my question. So in the earlier slide, you said that there are product focused launches and message focused launches, and they have different strategies. I would like to see an example of that.
Yeah.
Like, what would the strategy be for a product focused launch and one for a message focused launch?
Yeah, I mean, I was working with a company within Philips some time back, and they were rather successful. There was some $100 million turnaround, but they didn't have a good growth. What they did is look into the market where they were, and realizing that, okay, there were some key players that dominated the market. They could never be able to dominate the market segment themselves. So what they started to do is they looked for different segments. And they found a segment where they could take a key position. So what they did is that they tweaked the message. They didn't really develop any new products. They created a new message to address that market segment and reposition. It took a couple of years, but when they got into that segment for real, they got some substantial growth over time. So what they did is they used the existing products basically, did a relaunch. I mean, you can actually take the same products and relaunch them. You don't have to have a new product to do a launch. And they went into that segment instead and repositioned the whole business. That's an example of just a pure message, because I mean, pure product is
Yeah.
very quite typical. Yeah.
So, from what you told us, a product launch would be like a new market where you bring a new product. A message launch would be a new market but with an old product that I only reposition it in order to gain new market share somewhere.
You think about the Ansoff matrix, are you?
Yeah, and a release is when I upgrade a product for a market where I already exist.
Yeah, but I mean, you can launch a new product into an existing market as well.
Yeah, but maybe it's a new market for me, for the product. And that's how I was thinking.
There's no whiteboard here, so but everybody know the Ansoff matrix?
No.
As you have, you're typically in the existing market with your existing products, and then you have the choice to go either to new products, to new customers with the existing products, or you can go to existing products with new products. No, existing customers with new products. You can actually split up that matrix even more. And think about it, you can do updates to existing customers, you can look at the new segments. And what I hear you asking is where is the launch, that's one of the things you need to decide. I mean, what you want to achieve with the launch. You can use the launch. Ah, lovely. That was quick. Yeah, please. You have some pens? Oh. This is where you typically are. And what's existing. And new customers. And existing products and new products. So you can either go that way, or you can go that. Not advisable to go there.
that's a very important product launch.
Yeah.
Because you're launching a new product in a new market.
Yes, and why don't you go there?
Because maybe you don't have the expertise necessary in order to create a new product. Or
And
startup
you
would
don't
go
have the
there.
credibility as a supplier either, because the customers don't know you. So I mean, what you ask is can I launch into the existing product with existing products? Yeah, of course you can. I mean, you have a new product that's going here.
Mhm.
But maybe you want to expand your business, and then you have to preferably take your existing products. But the trick is, maybe there is actually so that you don't have the products that are relevant for this segment. So you need to sort of get here somewhere, and that's where you need to take a strategic decision. Where maybe I want to go there. How do I go there? Maybe I take these 2 steps here. And then you can start thinking about ways. So what kind of investments do I need to do for this? And use the strategic bucket model for product planning. So maybe I should continue development here. I have 20% investment here in new products. This is probably more expensive. Adapt the product to the new customers. And then once I'm here, I can take the next step. That's the way I would do it.
What if you buy a new company like a startup and does a new product in a new market? And still
Yeah,
totally
if
different.
you mean they all
Can you go
already
back
here.
or something like that? But you go directly, or
Yeah, you mean that company is already here?
and you
Yeah,
acquire
sure.
it.
Yeah. That's a quick one. Word.
From your experience, when does the communication fail between product creation and product marketing? Why does it fail so many times?
Because it's 2 different professions. The people working in product side, you have an engineering exam, technical background, and the other in marketing department they have different training in marketing, and there's sort of a cultural gap in between here and misunderstands it. So somebody needs to prepare a brief. You need to help with the communication in between here, and it's of course communication is a 2-way thing. But if you're the product people, I think you should step up and take the responsibility and ask them what do you need. What do you need to be able to help you succeed in the market here? Another aspect is as a product guy, you need to understand what the sales organization looks like. Is the sales organization prepared to do it? I mean, maybe you come up with a really good product now, but the sales organization is not prepared for that. Maybe they have an incentive model that promotes selling existing products. And then you come with this brilliant new product. Doesn't fit this incentive, it will never happen. You as a product guy, you need to see that your customers are actually the sales and the marketing department in a way. You need to convince the sales organization and marketing department that they should promote your product. If that doesn't happen, you will never be successful as a product manager. So I think I know that if you listened to Gabriel yesterday, he said that as a pro manager you shouldn't step into the marketing side so much. I think as a pro manager, I think you need to do that in a sense, not doing the job. You shouldn't start building web pages like some people do actually. But you should see to that they can do that they can do the job. Because if you don't help them with that, it will never happen. Or it will be bad material. And you need to find a tool so that so you can keep the consistency in your message over time, because that's another big failure is you give one message in Q1 and then you give a different message in Q2 and the next release is a different story, and there's no consistency and the customers don't understand what you're doing. I mean, you say one thing on the web page and then different thing in your PowerPoints. You need to find a way, a model for what is the value in your product, who are the customers, the segmentation, and really stick to that over time.
But doesn't this happen at the beginning of the project? Basically, where you were saying the product strategy part, basically, the as a product, I think you need to see the global perspective you're talking about before you start doing a product, basically.
No, I mean, I talked to Tetra Pak. They've been around for, I don't know, 50 years. Same issue. They were so frustrated with the marketing department because they couldn't promote their products. And I talked to another Swedish, they sell data basically, Bisnode. Same thing.
But what you're saying is basically build a product without talking to the marketing department beforehand.
Ah, okay. Well, that's a good question.
Yeah, basically you need to get this touch point beforehand, that planning stage.
Yeah.
And then that would basically resolve the issue of communication.
Yeah. We have a different version of the roadmap. Exactly as you're saying. You have a product roadmap, and you have a technology roadmap preferably, and you sync it with the marketing department. So I come with this new product idea. I should really look into what's going on in the market.
Yeah. To see if the strategy is, It's quite complicated before, because all of these variables regarding the product would limit it a lot. A lot, because you have the legal department, you have the financial department, you have the resource department, you have all these limitations basically, that if you're in a big company, you get cut off really quick to do a actually disruptive product. And it depends. It helps the company, maybe like you said, in the vertical way, like develop in a vertical environment for the same the same product for the same people. But it doesn't help you to grow like the other part you said there, the actual talk, to develop in a horizontal environment to new markets and so on. And but I think it's very interesting that the solution you came up with basically going step by step and getting out, but only in the marketing sense, because in the product sense, I don't know. This is what I really didn't understand.
I had a discussion with the guy that was responsible for strategy at Ericsson when the mobile phones went down the drain and the iPhone. They had an iPhone version actually within the Ericsson company, but Ericsson knew. Just like what Greg said in the previous, they had a totally clear idea what a good mobile phone is, and that was not what an iPhone looked like. So the guys that were working with the iPhone version, it was a bad product because it was a bad mobile phone. But the iPhone is not a mobile phone; it's something else. So it is how do you create this disruptive situation? How do you secure the
That was Bo Tiderman's talk at the first edition of Product Leader Summit back in 2017. We're coming back next week with another video on product. Until then, don't forget to think, design, and work smart.